Hey, y'all, and welcome to the Raw Industry Podcast. I'm Olivia Thompson, a news reporter by day and an entertainment reporter and interviewer by night. This is a platform that covers the raw and uncut in a ton of industries, from entertainment to business and everything in between, and also uncovering the raw and uncut that many of our special guests come on to talk about and you don't want to miss. This is episode 3, the raw and uncut as a CEO and executive producer, and we have a very special guest in the building. Again, we thank you so much for joining us for episode 3. Today, our special guest really doesn't need an introduction at all. I met him 2 years ago, and already it's 2025, and a lot has changed since then. I will say that this is someone who is very supportive of a ton of creatives from Dallas, Texas to Cali to Georgia, all over the nation. He's supported so many creatives here and has also set the bar very high here in the DFW and a bunch of areas. And we'll talk about all those here on the show. They celebrated a birthday in January as well. And just so many great things are happening. And also, if I haven't mentioned it in other episodes, this is also the person who's responsible for the Raw Industry Podcast having such an epic and dope place to reach you all, our viewers. It's no one other than Radio Raheem.
What's going on, man?
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you for being here. I know you have a busy schedule, so we are going to dive into it, but not before doing a vibe check.
All right, let's do it.
Now, earlier we talked about 2 different options, and Radio chose the first 5 common things. So basically, we're just going to go back and forth, asking each other questions, and we're going to try and reach a list of 5 things that we have in common. And I'm pretty sure me and Radio are very different, but we're going to at least find 5 things that we have in common. Do you want to ask questions first or me?
You guys.
Okay, perfect. I'll do something easy. My favorite color is black.
Mine is baby blue.
Baby blue. Okay, good to know. Let's see. I was born in September. I know you weren't.
I was born in January.
January. Happy belated.
Appreciate it.
Let's see. What's a really niche one? My favorite cuisine is probably seafood.
Mine is sushi.
I did know that. Okay. Let's say I was born in Atlanta, Georgia.
I was born in Japan.
That is so cool. Nowhere near where I was born. Let's see.
But I lived in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, we have that in common. That's a cheat, but that's a good one.
Yeah.
How long were you there?
I lived there for about 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different than Dallas. I miss home.
It's actually a lot similar to Dallas.
You think so?
Yeah, a lot of things in Atlanta they have in Dallas.
Yeah, that's true. What else? I dislike McDonald's.
I dislike McDonald's.
Okay.
I agree.
2 for 2. Okay, I'll let you go for the next 2.
All right. I'm the only child by my mom.
I'm the only child by my mom. That's 3.
All right. See, I've traveled out of the country.
I've also traveled out of the country. That's a long list. I'm gonna wait to ask you that. But I traveled to Aruba for the first time a few years ago. That's
I'm actually going to Aruba in the next week.
Are you?
Yeah. So that's nice.
Later, I'll get the name of this restaurant that I tried there that you have to go to.
All right.
That's so cool. Okay, and then one more. Do you want to ask her me?
Let's see. Favorite genre of music?
Mine has to be like a mixture of 60s through 80s, like a little soul funk vibe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've actually been on that vibe lately.
Mm-hmm.
Older music? Created a whole old school playlist.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can count that as the 5th one, right?
Yeah, I'm with that.
Cool. Well, that's 5 things that me and Radio have in common that I didn't know. But that's really cool. Now I have to ask you, why did you leave Atlanta?
I left Atlanta right before COVID, so I think as soon as COVID started coming around, I figured it was a good time for me to get back to Texas and kind of revamp what I had going on in Texas. But Atlanta was like I want to say like it was a spiritual quest that I had to go through, and it really opened me up to a whole new world. So I appreciate Atlanta a lot.
And then you transitioned outwards, huh?
It was kind of like my transition back to Dallas because
Okay.
it was a lot of things that was pushing me out of Dallas that I didn't really want to be around. But then it was like something was pushing me back. So it gave me the opportunity to come back and redo the whole studio. And I mean, it turned up. The studio went crazy for a good few years, but now I feel like it's on. I don't know. It might be on its last leg.
Yeah, you think so?
This might be it. I don't know. I'm still deciding.
Well, everything has a roller coaster. It's ups and downs,
Yeah, yeah. But
Well, I
I've been
will
here for
say,
15 years, so
yeah,
I definitely put in that work.
definitely
No,
years of work.
years,
And I've only
years.
been a part of like two.
Yeah,
So
I know. It's crazy. How many years you been apart, man?
About 11.
oh
11 years?
geez. You got me stumped.
11 years and never satisfied. That's crazy.
2014.
Yeah,
2014.
there you go. I started in 2007.
Wow.
That was the first year I started never satisfied.
How much do you think Never Satisfied has changed since 2007?
It's changed dramatically. It's crazy. It's went to every area of entertainment you can think of, from films, movies, TV, music, tours, concerts, fashion, events. I mean, this place has seen it all.
Yeah. Well, I'm very grateful to be a part of I'm not going to say the end of the road, the transition. I'm really grateful to be a part of it for at least 2 years
Most
and get to
definitely.
experience, all that you do, which is
Yeah.
a long list of things. So before we dive deeper, just tell me how many different industries, if you can list a few that you've kind of been a part of, whether it be as a leader or even entering, as a new venue for yourself.
Well, my goal was really to jump into the entertainment industry as a whole and just really learn the entertainment side. I've always learned that there's two ways to make money. You can make money through fear or you can make money out of pleasure. And I feel like the entertainment is the pleasure side of making money. And once you really understand that, you start to see like it's a multi-trillion-dollar business and you can really make money in all angles and all sides. The fear side is like, the insurance, the doctors, the lawyers, those are all the people that you need when you're in fear of something. But the entertainment side is when you're looking for pleasure, entertainment, things that excite you, things that give you your, pretty much your fun in life.
Yeah.
So you need both.
Definitely. I will say every time I come to Never Satisfied Studios, I have a good time.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure.
absolutely. And since 2007, you've kind of had your hands in a bunch of different buckets. And recently you had a soft opening. And there's going to be a grand opening soon with this logo here, Lost and Found, representing that. Can you kind of talk to me first about how your birthday went and then how the soft opening went?
Well, every year I try to do something different for my birthday, and I try to tie it into things that I'm kind of into at the moment. So lately, I've been into really getting this store going, and this is going to be my first clothing store, shoe store, and I'm just liking the way it's coming about. I feel like everything's coming together really well. I got some good partners. I got a good team over there, and everybody's just really balancing each other, the way it's supposed to. And I feel like it's going to do really good.
Yeah.
You know.
And what kind of spawned I know this is your very first one, clothing and shoe store here in the DFW, but what spawned the idea?
Well, I've always been into fashion, so fashion has been like something that I've been always wanting to do, even when I first started Never Satisfied. And what's crazy is like the ironic story of how Never Satisfied even came about was I was running around the Art Institute and I was actually looking for the fashion department. And I didn't go to the school or anything. And like when I first walked in there, I bumped into a guy named Ian Brown. And he was the very first person I met when I walked into the Art Institute, and he was shooting some type of film outside. And I asked him, I was like, hey, you know where the fashion department is? And he was like, yeah. I said, I could take you. And I was like, all right, bet. And then he was like, but you don't look like you go here. And I was like, nah, I don't go here. And he was like, well, what are you doing here? And I was like, I'm actually looking to start my clothing line, Never Satisfied. And then he was like, oh, okay, that's dope. That's dope. He was like, but let me show you what I do. And then he showed me the film side, and he showed me the music side of the Art Institute. And then he showed me his little crew. And then he was like, but my girl does fashion, but she goes to another school down the street called Wade or something like that. And so I was like, all right, bet. So I was like, well, I can take his team, take his girl, and I could start Never Satisfied and build this whole team just off of that. And next you know, this is where we at.
Yeah. And I'm sure you couldn't imagine all the different places and ways that it's grown, but I'm sure it looks a lot different than what you originally planned.
Yeah, it's definitely, well, actually, what's crazy is I had a vision on how this place was going to look, and it looks exactly like the vision I had.
Awesome. I love that.
You know, where I was going to go into each room, and each room was going to be something different. And I can like talk to each room and like help each room on what they're doing. So this is the podcast room, then you got the fashion room, and then you got the music room, and then you got the shooting back room where they're doing all the photo shoots and video shoots, and then you got the editing room, and then you got the conference. So every room was like something different that I imagined, and it came out exactly how I planned it.
That's amazing. You know what you can do with your imagination, whatever's on the canvas of your imagination. I tell everyone, act on it. Or you got to write down a plan or try and find a connection, and just make it come to pass. And so that's really unique. That
it's like seeing is believing. If you can see it, you can achieve it. But a lot of times, people have ideas that they can't see, and that's the reason why it's unachievable. But as long as you have that vision in place, it's going to happen exactly how your vision wants it to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, again, going down memory lane here, we're past 2007, and I'm actually going to skip to when I met you. It was actually at, I believe, a signing event also in Dallas. And just a few months after that, you got your doctorate's degree. And, obviously that's a huge distinction. Everyone doesn't have their doctorates. Can you kind of talk to me about what that day was like for you and kind of what's changed since then, since getting your doctorate's degree?
I feel like it was just something to add to the list, to the things that you always wanted to do or always wanted to have. And just the way it came about, I thought it was, pretty cool, pretty special. And, it's just something to add to the list, but it's interesting to hear people call me Dr. Radio Raheem.
Right? Isn't it? But I think it rings a bell.
Yeah,
Definitely would look good on a desk, on a nameplate.
Yeah.
And so Dr. Radio Raheem, I know that as a CEO of Never Satisfied Studios and also as an executive producer, you kind of run into a bunch of different people, those of which that could benefit from your knowledge and wisdom, but also that have inspired you. Can you kind of talk to me briefly about those that in any industry that you kind of look up to, or would you say are like good role models for you?
As far as people I ran into?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of good people that I met, and some of them, I wouldn't say that they're in the best light right now, but it was just very interesting to be around them and like grow up listening to them and like just really looking up to them and being able to like work with them and actually do business with them and make money with them was even the highlight of my life, so I'm never gonna take that away, no matter how much the bad light might not be in their favor, but I think it's still good.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that coin, do you feel like there are others who look at you as a role model and kind of look up to you as
Yeah,
a
I
mentor?
mean, I've been approached every day by different people just, asking to work with me or, appreciating the ability to work with me or, just intrigued just to ask me questions about, how I got from where I was to where I am and, just try to help them on their journey.
Yeah. And can you kind of talk to me about what pathway did you have to go to decide, you know, I'm not going to go the traditional route, whatever that looks like for some people.
Hmm.
Instead, I want to own my own, inspire others, and, kind of grow a family like you have here.
For sure. I feel like, when you come from places like Dallas, that's not LA, that's not Atlanta, that's not New York, these places, you don't really see the door of opportunity. You see more of the the long road. It's a long road to get to here. It's a long road to get to there. When you're in Atlanta or LA or New York, it's a little shorter. You can literally just intern in the place you really want to be at, and next you know you're working next to the person that you really want to become.
Right.
Here, it's not that many. So I always told myself, well, if there's not going to be an opportunity, I just got to build it. So what I did was I built my own door and I created my own platform and I made sure that this platform opens doors for many, and then you can create a family from the people that you work with, but a lot of people just don't see it like that. And, they have their own vision, which is completely fine. It's just, it takes away from the overall goal,
Right.
and if everybody had that same vision, Dallas can be in LA, Dallas can be in Atlanta, Dallas can be a New York. It just need that visionary to kind of put it across the board to the masses. So
Yeah.
that way everybody's focusing on the common goal and building that together. But maybe one day, I feel like everybody from California is moving down here, so the vision is changing,
100%.
and I've been hit up by tons and tons of people, and that's probably the only reason why I'm kind of debating on not shutting down the studio, because so many people have hit me up and said, hey man, let's work together, let's build one. Hey, I'm moving all my stuff from California and from Miami to here, and I want to build something with you. And I'm like, all right, I might entertain the idea, I don't know.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that's very true. There are a ton of people, not only leaving California, but from all over that see Dallas or the DFW as a great place to kind of venture out from what they thought they wanted to do in life. And the North Texas region, I know I work in Sherman, the Sherman Texoma area, and there are tons of people coming there because that's a really good area with Global Wafers and the Texas Instruments, kind of people in the tech and industrial type of businesses move out there. So there's things bringing people from all over for all kinds of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And, what are some of what kind of advice could you give people when they're hesitant to go somewhere they don't have any connections or they don't know a Radio Raheem, but they still want to try something new?
I feel like that's kind of like what happened when I moved to Atlanta. I didn't really know anybody in Atlanta, but I just knew that that place breeds hunger. It's like everybody out there is hungry and they're all thriving for something. And you see like the most black millionaires I've ever seen in my life in Atlanta. You don't see that in Texas. You might see a small portion of that, but nowhere near the amount that you see in Atlanta. So for me to be around those people and for them to welcome me with open arms and for me to be able to partner with a lot of those people and just get involved, it was an amazing experience. So I couldn't do that if I was hesitant or I just was intimidated and feeling like, oh, I'm just going to be a small fish in this big pond. Like, nah, like I jumped out there and I was a big fish, and they accepted me as one. So you just got to present yourself.
Awesome. And kind of like you say, in presenting yourself, what are some of those qualities that you feel kind of make you a a really good example of what a CEO can be? Like, what are some qualities people should be working on within to kind of exude that same confidence and be a big fish?
I feel like you got to really learn how to become the elephant in the room. You know, everybody talks about the elephant in the room, but they don't know what the elephant in the room has to do to become that, you know, and I really feel like I mastered that. You know, when my presence is in the room, people can feel like something is different, you know, and they're all like looking at me. And I could be at a clinic, I could be at a hole in the wall, I could be in the most weirdest places, and it's just like, who is this elephant in the room? Like, why is he standing out the most? You know, and people actually walk up to me and they be like, what's up with you? Who are you?
Like, what's going on?
Like, why do you give off this presence? You
Mhm.
know, and then I gotta elaborate on who I am or what I am or what I do, and doors open from there, you know. And sometimes you never know who you're gonna meet. I met some interesting people in the weirdest places, you know, and then they've introduced me to some bigger people, and it just kept going and going and going. So I never close no doors. I keep all the doors open.
Awesome. An open door. Also, opening doors at a grand opening soon
Mhm.
is Lost and Found. Can you kind of talk to me about the I know you talked to me about, the idea that spawn never satisfied, but specifically about Lost and Found, I know you're working on that with some others as a
Mhm.
team. What's the vision for Lost and Found right now, and where do you all want to see it within the coming months?
Feel like Lost and Found is like I mean, it's like a high-end thrift store, you know, because you got the thrift items in there that's vintage, that's rare, that you don't really see too often. But then you also got like the dead stock shoes where you got all these fly kicks that's never been worn that everybody wants, even I want. I've been shopping in there, you know, which is I shouldn't. My closet is insane. But so it's just like everything that I ever wanted in a store, you know, all the things that I want. Then they got a jewelry section, which my boy Ace is holding down. You know, he's bringing some fly jewelry in there.
Shout out to Ace.
My boy Manny, which is my business partner, he's doing the shoes. He's been in the shoe game for a long time. So he has an impeccable collection of shoes. Like, it's insane the stuff that he has. And, you know, as far as with me, you know, I'm just trying to bring the vision, the clothes, just the feel, the lifestyle into the store, because sometimes when you walk into the store, it just feels lifeless. You
Right.
know, I want to walk into the store and I want to feel like the lifestyle. I want to feel just like I'm at home, you know, so that way the more comfortable you are, the more you want to shop, the more you want to buy. And we're just doing things that a lot of stores ain't doing. So
Right.
you got
So
to check it out.
would you say definitely go check it out?
Oh,
We're
yeah,
gonna get some behind the scenes in the coming weeks,
for
just of
sure.
you kind of walking us through. Gotta give our podcast viewers an up close and personal look
Absolutely.
see. But can you kind of talk to me about the high end thrift? Why do you think that? Do you think that thrifting in general has a little bad connotation to it?
I feel like thrifting has definitely blown up in the recent
I
years
do
to where
too.
it's very popular, it's very trendy. It's like everybody's scavenging for the next piece, you know, and it's so many different pieces out there that you can collect that, you know, this is one of the places where you find those rare pieces, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm actually putting a lot of my own personal pieces in there. So you get to see some of my Radio Raheem pieces,
Looking forward to it.
which is pretty rare, you
Yeah.
know, because I pride myself on being a fashion, I don't know what you call it,
A fashion king.
fashion king, a
Yeah.
fashionist, you know,
Mm-hmm.
somebody that really takes fashion to that high level. Like, you know, I don't like wearing stuff that everybody else has. So
Right.
it's like the perfect store for me to find things that no one else has
How often does someone stop you and be like, "Hey, where'd you get that?"
every day,
Yeah.
all the time. Like at the airport, It doesn't matter if I'm shopping. It doesn't matter if I'm just hanging out, casual. Like people ask me about this brand, and this is my boy Pharaoh. He's been holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Putting it in.
Yeah.
Got his gas merch on, which
That's
he
tight.
put the Never Satisfied logo
With the logo. Look at that.
So,
Awesome.
special birthday present from my guy. You
Yeah.
know, definitely appreciate him, man.
Awesome.
Check him out, Pharaoh.
Pharaoh. And, you know, kind of
Matter
talking
of fact,
about,
y'all need to have him on this show. That's the guy y'all need on this show.
we will add him to the list.
He's a serious entrepreneur
Mm-hmm.
that needs to be on this show.
Of course. Well, I will add him to the list myself. And, you know, I know you said like thrifting, and it's kind of when people take quite a bit of time trying to sift through and find specific pieces. So it kind of sounds like you're cutting out that kind of middleman area where it's like people have to search hard and they can really come and find unique pieces, but they don't have to dig through all the bad in a sense.
Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, I've been to a few of these thrift conventions and shows, and it's a lot. You know, it's very overwhelming. But you know, for me, I got a good eye. Like I'm going directly for what I know is hot, for what I know. If I like it, there's a good amount of people that's gonna like it too.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And it sounds like there's no other store really like this in the area either.
No, not too many people is doing this, you know, and I feel like it's in the perfect location, you know, downtown Carrollton. I feel like it's a growing place. The food over there is amazing. And just me being there for like the last couple of days, we're not even open, and like so many people done just walked in buying stuff. They're like, oh, I know y'all not open, but let me get this. Let me buy this. Let me
trying to get ahead of the crowd.
You know, so it's been doing well. We've made a bunch of sales, and we're not even open yet.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. When can, you know, the viewers kind of get ahead of the crowd too? When will you see the grand opening happening? A guesstimate.
I'm looking to do the grand opening on Valentine's weekend.
Awesome.
You know, I feel like that weekend is a time where everybody's going to be in town. People spend time with their boo on Friday, which is Valentine's. But on Saturday, you know, you should go shopping with your boo. You know, come to the grand opening. We're going to have food. We're going to have drinks. We're going to have entertainment. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to be doing a big scavenger hunt. Probably going to put like couple thousand all over downtown Carrollton.
Ooh-wee.
And just gonna hide it in all these different places, and you're gonna find it. So you might come up on some money. You know, that weekend is gonna be a crazy weekend. I'm gonna make it big.
Absolutely.
So just be prepared.
That sounds like a blast. And also, don't say I didn't tell you. If you forgot the gift, or it's coming in the mail too late, or you don't know what to do for Valentine's Day, even if you don't have a boo, now you got plans.
For sure.
The next day on Saturday. So don't miss out on that grand opening. That sounds like a ton of fun, radio.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so kind of speaking again, as far as being an entrepreneur and a CEO, a lot of the cliches out there are that you have to know someone and know someone. And you kind of have already touched on the fact that you can create your own space to thrive. But as far as looks go, because you are a fashionist, you know, a fashion king, what would you say a CEO should look like when it comes to dress from head to toe?
I feel like you just got to be able to dress for the occasion. You know, every occasion is different. So as long as you understand how to read the room and understand how to really like present yourself in different places, you know how to make yourself blend, but you also know how to make yourself stand out. So, you know, these are key things that you have to learn.
Right. And you have to tell me, be honest now, what is the first thing when you walk in your closet that you pick out? How do you start the outfit?
I ain't gonna lie. My closet is the most stressful part of my life.
No way. Why?
Like, it is stressful.
To look at or to navigate?
Everything.
No way.
It's worse than the store. It's like everything in my closet has to match.
Yeah.
So like my shoes got to match my clothes got to match my top got to match my hat, then my jewelry got to match what I'm wearing, then my glasses got to match what I'm wearing, everything. Like it has to match from head to toe. If it don't match from head to toe, then I don't want to wear it.
You're not stepping out.
And that's probably why my closet looks the way it does, because if I don't feel good in my outfit that I picked, then I'll go buy another outfit that day.
Even if it's just for one thing, a couple errands.
Exactly.
Wow.
If I don't feel good in my outfit that day, I will go to the store and buy a new outfit and put my old outfit in the bag. And I've
Wow.
done that a lot. In fact, I did it yesterday.
Just yesterday.
Just yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling what I had on. I was like, man, I think I can go harder. And I did.
Well, I think that speaks to your personality as well, kind of having that. I know what it takes, even just for me to feel good and show up as Radio Raheem or Dr. Radio Raheem. And
I won best dress in school.
did
So
you?
That was a big thing.
In high school?
In high school.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is it in their yearbook too?
It's in the yearbook. The flyest guy in the yearbook.
So you've been true to this.
I've been true.
Awesome.
I'm not new to this. I'm true to this.
That's dope, Radio. I really like that. Kind of tell me about maybe some bumps in the road, some speed bumps, some rocks that you've hit on the road to where you are right now. So whether it be from 2007 or even prior, I know there's not a straight road to being a successful executive producer and a successful entrepreneur, especially when you have so many different kinds of businesses. What are the biggest roadblocks you've hit so far, and how did you overcome those?
I feel like one of the biggest roadblocks just for anybody is mental health. Mental health is something that a lot of men don't talk about because it's a very prideful thing, and that's why I feel like it's important to check on your strong friends, because through my mental health journey, I mean, it's definitely went through its ups and downs, and when it's down, it's hard to get back up. So, and people think it's easy just because you have the world at your fingertips, but it's not always like that. A lot of times you really have to dig deep to really find what motivates you to get up, what motivates you to keep going, what motivates you to show up every day with the same attitude and not be deterred because of what you're feeling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And these feelings, it's uncontrollable. And a lot of times, people would just say, oh, it's in your head or you're just being weak, which I've said it plenty of times. But, at the end of the day, it's really a thing.
Right.
It's an important thing that you have to navigate through, and you have to find help.
Yeah.
And for me, I found help through my spiritual journey. And my spiritual journey is what allowed me to open my everything, my heart, my mind, my soul, my body, the way I see life, and it was just a very important journey that I've had. And I feel like everybody in the world needs to share that and enjoy that and be a part of that and really find what's their spiritual. And it's not religion, it's more deeper than that. Religion to me is what governs the way you live, but it's not something that governs your spiritual.
Right.
So your spiritual is something that you have to really go deep into. And I think everybody has to find what's their spiritual.
How long did it take you to find your spiritual?
I mean, it was almost like it kind of found me. Right. So it just put me around people that understood what I needed.
Yeah.
And I know not everybody is blessed to have that. So, sometimes you have to go out looking for that, or sometimes you have to go searching for that. Or if you know someone that's talking like that, ask them questions, and, anybody can ask me any question. What's crazy is I do this thing when I'm on road trips and I'm by myself, and I'm by myself a lot of times. Like,
right.
People always think I got a lot of people with me, but I'm by myself a good portion of times. And I'll be on these road trips where it'll be like 3 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, and I'm driving. And I'll just put a post on my Instagram and I say, if anybody's going through anything or anybody wants to ask any questions, anything about business, anything about personal, anything that's going on,
right.
all you gotta do is send me your number and I'm gonna call you back. And I've called like hundreds of people doing that.
Yeah. So it's sincere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and a lot of times, like they say that talk really saved them or changed their lives or inspired them to, you know, just do something different, you know, and I try to keep that door open as much as I can. I mean, I check my DMs as much as I can. And, you know, if someone's going through it, I take the time out to talk to them.
Yeah. And I know there's a ton of people that have benefited from those discussions. What do you gain from those? Even if talking to them would help you none, in a sense, how does that help you still?
Well, I feel like the gift is always about giving, you know, and if someone gave me the gift, then it's my obligation to give it to someone else.
Right.
So someone found me when I was going through my dark times and gave me those words of encouragement and actually gave me like insight, you know, because it's always good to just tell someone like, hey, I'm proud of you, or hey, I love you, or hey, you know, you're doing a great job.
Right.
And that's words of encouragement. But sometimes people actually need the insight. You know, the insight is like, okay, what do I need to do to get here?
Right.
And I'm gonna give you insight to help you to get there.
Yeah.
You know, which my best opinion, I'm not saying my opinion is the only opinion, but
Right.
it's worth something, because obviously if I came from nothing and I haven't had a job since I got out the military, which was a long fucking time ago, you know, and now I'm in a position where like it can only go up from here.
Right. Awesome. And, you know, with those people reaching out to you, have you ever found that it's led to future, you know, business opportunities and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, you know,
Yeah.
some people even circled back and was like, hey, you know, because you helped me at this time, I want to help you. You
Awesome.
know, and I mean, some people, you know, returned the favor. Some people gave the favors to someone else. Someone was like, oh, you're a friend of him, you're a friend of mine, let me look out for you. So I feel like it just kept going and going and going. So, you know,
Yeah.
that's the purpose in life. You know, we're not here to be on this earth alone. We're here to really share the word and share the enlightenment and share the joy with people that you don't know and people that you do know.
Absolutely. And, you know, interestingly enough, you helped me remember the question because I have a ton and I know we don't have time for all of them, but you'll be back.
Sure.
I do want to know from you feel like you're the best person to ask this question, since we were already talking about mental health, specifically with men who struggle with mental health and they don't like to talk about it or they don't know what segues there are to address them. What is your take on the idea that money can buy happiness?
I feel like that opinion has definitely changed for me, because I used to think that, you know, I used to feel like, you know, money was the answer. But now I feel like balance is the answer, you know, because I know a lot of people that have billions of dollars, millions of dollars, and they're not happy, you know,
Right.
and you can tell that they're not happy. But I know people that are very well balanced, you know, and they might have a little fortune, they might have no fortune, but they're balanced where they are, and they keep that balance, you know, and they take the good with the bad, and they're always working on rebalancing themselves. And I
Yeah.
think that's the most important thing about finding not even happiness, because happiness is a momentary high. I feel like balance is something that you can thrive for and really like get everything you need out of it.
Right. And kind of stay in that space for a consistent
Oh,
amount
yeah,
of time too.
for sure.
Definitely. Kind of talk to me about the whole, which I think this is kind of what spawned the original question before we started filming today. I know there's a bunch of, you know, California wildfires going on that started in an unfortunate instance. And a lot of people were bringing up that idea that, you know, a lot of millionaires' homes burned down and they're like, oh, well, they can just go make some more. Have you ever run into an instance where, you know, you had, whether it be like a business connection or relationship or material items that were kind of here today and gone tomorrow? How do you adjust in those instances? Because I know it pops up as, you know, an executive producer.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everybody goes through traumatic losses, you know, in one way or another. It doesn't have to be materials, it doesn't have to be business. I feel like we all grieve differently, and grieving doesn't have to be because of someone passing, it could be because of just the hardship of what you're going through, and I think, you know, even the people that's losing the stuff they have out there in LA, or California, it's like it's a hard thing to process because you're feeling like you're losing memories or you're losing sentimental things, and a lot of those things has been lost, but also too, people got to just understand like that's a part of life.
Yeah.
You got to expect the unexpected.
Mhm.
And when the unexpected happens, you got to have the motivation to rebuild and the motivation to go harder and the motivation to, you know, be more secure and be more safe and take care of yourself more and take care of the ones you love and, and help them,
Right.
because a lot of these things that we do, we always wish we can get back. We wish we can get back the time with certain people, or we wish we can, get back these things that we've lost. But if you learn how to preserve things and help people preserve themselves,
Right.
then you'll have more time,
Mhm.
and some things are unexpected, but some things you can be prepared for or have like an idea to be more pretty much preparation.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, that makes perfect sense. Kind of winding down here, just a few more questions for you. For those who are feeling they are established as an entrepreneur or a CEO of their own business, can you kind of speak to the nature of how do you know that whatever you are a CEO of or whatever your passion is, how do you know that that passion is still burning or it's time to transition?
Mm, I mean, my goal is to be a mogul.
Mhm.
And as a mogul, you're going to create multiple streams of income from all different angles. But these streams of income can complement each other because it's hard to kind of do things that's like out of your territory. But, when you're in your territory and you're in your groove and everything's complementing each other, it's going to all kind of work simultaneously, even with or without you, But like, that's really the goal, is to keep adding more and more things to the plate.
Right.
No
So it
matter,
sounds like, without a shadow of a doubt, multiple streams of income should be a goal.
for sure.
And, exuding confidence, whether that be internally with your mental health or externally with how you show up as whatever your vibe is as far as fashion goes, different things like that. What about for those that feel they need that degree, like we're not going to knock education, but everybody doesn't take that educational route.
Hmm.
So, what could people show for that says I am supposed to be in this room, even if they don't have the degree to show for it?
No, I feel like there's something for everybody, and the things that you need with a degree is something for you there, and not everybody's going to play every role, so my role is going to be different from your role, and our roles require different things. So the things that I have to do to get what I'm required to get is going to be different from what you're required. But that doesn't change your lifestyle or my lifestyle, because there's things that can upgrade your lifestyle tremendously, by choosing the direction that you're going and by doing the requirements that you need to get there.
Right.
So I don't knock no one's hustle. I don't knock what anybody does. I don't feel like, school is bad. I feel like there's something for everybody, and not everything is for everybody.
Right.
So if
Did you go
schools,
that school route?
no, I
Well, this is a living example, you all.
yeah, I went the hard route, very hard, you know, and it was very challenging, you know,
Right.
because a lot of my friends went the school route, and you know they're doing pretty well, and some of them are not, and a lot of my friends didn't go the school route, and a lot of them are not really doing so well, and some of them are. But I feel like you got to just really find your lane. You got to find what really works for you, you know, and don't judge yourself or compare yourself to someone else. You know, your path is going to work differently.
Right.
So do what complements you. Don't
Got it.
do what you want to do. Do what you need to do.
Yeah. And I'm sure that takes a lot of self-discipline as well.
For sure.
Last two things here. Can you kind of talk about relationships, like friendships, business relationships, and so on? How have you maintained those, and how have, I guess, the list, whether it be long or short, kind of stayed how it is over the years?
Well, I want to talk about preserving things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people got to learn how to preserve the things that they love, you know, and the idea of preserving things is not just taking care of it, but actually creating preventatives
Mm-hmm.
and giving it things that it needs, you know. So people don't realize like we are a very toxic race.
Right.
In this race, we're just filled with toxicity. We're
Mm-hmm.
filled with all the things that's made to go against us, you know. And I feel like, you know, when you really start learning, like, why was someone like Dr. Sebi so important, you know, and a lot of people are afraid to talk about these things because they feel like there's a conspiracy behind it, which it could be,
Right.
you know, but the truth of the matter is like the things that these people were teaching and helping was really to help our culture, was really to help preserve us
Mm-hmm.
to where we don't feed into the toxicity. And the more I've been on my spiritual journey, it's like I want to teach that to people. I want people to learn that, you know, learn why like just taking a spoonful of sea moss every day can help your life, can help your mom's life, can help your grandmother's life, can help your kids' life, you know. But why we don't teach that, you know? Why are we teaching each other to go to McDonald's or go smoke your vape or go, you know, eat what you want just because you want to?
Right.
You know, we run away from the things that is healthy and we run towards the things that are not.
Right.
So we got to reverse that idea. And, you know, I say that because that's a big part of this journey, especially with relationships that you build. Because when you get to my age, a lot of people are gone.
You want to tell your age?
Hmm?
You want to tell your age? You don't have to.
I mean, I'm a triple OG.
Okay.
You know,
Nice to know.
I'm like vampire years at this
Yeah.
time, you know.
Still fly, so hey.
So you never know. I could be at 3,000, 4,000 years old, you know what I'm saying? Just still going.
Oh
The
goodness.
Asian age don't age and the
Yeah.
black don't crack.
That's true. You got it both, huh?
I'm mixed up.
Yeah.
I'm all mixed up.
And so I kind of want to talk to you lastly about what it truly means to be never satisfied. You know, I see it all over the building, and I've shared, just the whole purpose of the business with my close friends, and people see it on your back and see it on the microphones here. It's all over the place.
Mhm.
But what does it mean for anyone that doesn't know? What does it
Well,
mean to be never satisfied?
you know what's crazy is it's an ironic story. I saw Never Satisfied when I was running from the police.
Oh Lord. What did you do?
I
You don't
can't
have
even
to
really
say.
remember what I was doing at the
Mm-hmm.
time, but I was doing something bad. And
Right. To be running.
the police was chasing me, and I was hiding behind this car,
Mm-hmm.
and it had a sticker on the back that said never satisfied. And I thought that was just very ironic,
Yeah.
and I was like, I am never satisfied. It's probably why I'm in this situation,
Yeah.
and it just kind of stuck with me from that point on. And it kind of like embraced me to be like, okay, where I was, I'm not satisfied. I don't want to keep living that life.
Yeah.
I want to go further, and I want to get to places I've never been and just keep thriving for something more, because like at that very moment I was really ashamed of myself. Like, I'm
Yeah.
hiding behind this car. I'm young. I'm like maybe 16, 17 years old. I don't know what I did at the moment, but
You got away.
I got away, obviously,
Yeah.
and it just kind of stuck with me. And then everywhere I went, it was just staying never satisfied, never being content, never settling, never just following what everybody else is doing. Just keep creating your own path and, just keep going. But the biggest part about being never satisfied is staying grateful,
Yeah.
and that's the part that a lot of people don't get. People think, oh, this person's never happy. This person can never be fulfilled. But if you're never satisfied, but always grateful, then it's like you're thriving for more, but you're appreciative of where you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important part about being never satisfied.
Awesome. Well, I think that was perfectly said. And that is I feel like some people struggle with, am I satisfied? Am I asking for too much? Whether for no matter where they're at in their life, like, am I asking for too much? Am I maybe posed with such a wild imagination that these are things I can't achieve? And so I think having that never satisfied just state of mind mentally, I feel like it doesn't put you in a box,
No,
Yeah.
that's the whole thing, is to never be stuck in a box. Sometimes you have to, stay down till you come up, but you don't have to be stuck in that box.
Yeah.
There's so many things your arms can reach to and get to while you're staying down, while you're going through the motions and getting through whatever things that you're going through. You just got to keep reaching.
I am right on time, perfectly. I do want to talk about, we're in quarter one of the year, so that's January, February, March. Can you kind of talk to me what are some upcoming goals, and if not goals you want to share, just where you see yourself by the end of March? There's a whole year ahead of us, really.
Uh, I feel like this year is going to be the year of abundance, the year of prosperity, and just really like taking it all in, because I felt like the last couple years was definitely the years of hardship, definitely the years of just challenging and just, really working through the negativities that's going on. But, this year is definitely the abundance. You're going to receive a lot.
Yeah.
You just got to have that mentality and not necessarily keep giving a lot.
Yeah.
Just be in a position of receiving. And that's my goal this year.
Awesome. Well, that was well said and perfect. Before we leave officially, is there anything else you want to shout out, talk about, ask me, have me ask you, anything?
So I'm kind of curious,
Mm-hmm.
what is raw industry to you?
Raw industry in its entirety. Well, actually, we'll break it down. So the platform specifically is meant to bring on people like you, people like radio, who are not at their highest peak, because if you're never satisfied, there is no highest peak. But anyone that deems himself an expert in any industry, and specifically that kind of have experienced the raw and uncut in that industry, but is also willing to share and teach others how to navigate, whether they're navigating issues, navigating entering those industries, navigating switching over from one industry to the next. And so raw industry is kind of like giving anyone a microphone, but not just anyone who, like I said, is deemed an expert, And it also kind of spawns, which people DM us all the time, kind of spawns questions people questioning like, well, am I in a good place or am I good enough to start doing this or looking into this, that, and the third? So kind of showing people that you can be from or start from anywhere and get to X level, but then also kind of diving into how you
Gotcha.
do that.
Well, my idea of raw industry
Mm-hmm.
is, people want to see the real. They don't want to see the fluff. They don't want to see the the good. People want to see the good, the bad, the ugly, and they want to see the raw and uncut of every industry.
Yeah.
And I think if you give it to them like that and you present it to them like that, you're going to get some interesting things out of it.
Yeah.
And those are the things that's going to keep people intrigued and interested in the show, and I like the show. I like the idea. I guess I'm a sponsor behind it,
Yeah.
so
And we appreciate you.
I want to see raw industry go deep.
Yeah.
And I want you to go so deep that you get the ugly of everything and you get the good of everything. And people can see that and kind of like go from there.
Right.
So I feel like y'all are on the right track, and hopefully, this was a little sample of what it could be,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not as much, maybe it's more of an intro, but, I definitely want to give y'all the raw and uncut and the real of what being an entrepreneur is,
Mm-hmm.
or a serial entrepreneur, which is what I am, and just allowing people to understand that
Right.
of what it is. So y'all on track.
Well, thank you so much. And we're definitely going to, take note of that and have you back. So
Most definitely.
without a question, you'll be back. And, hopefully we'll be able to uncover that raw and uncut of what radio's insane life is like, an exciting life is like.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
For your socials, I know you have Instagram for sure, Radio's World. Anything else people should be following to keep up with you and all the great things you do here?
You definitely got to follow the studio, which is Never Satisfied Life. You can always check on neversatisfied.com. You got to check on the store, which is Lost and Found DFW, lost underscore found underscore DFW. And you can always keep up with me at Radio's World, which is private at the moment, but I might turn it back public, depending on my stalkers. I got a few of those.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they came from.
Every great person has probably a few.
I've had some insane ones.
Yikes.
Crazy. It's like, why am I even at your top list right now?
Right.
Like, who am I for you to be stalking me? But it's all right, though.
Yeah.
I guess if
it comes with the territory.
it comes with the territory.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you for coming on. We appreciate you for joining us for episode 3. And we appreciate you all for tuning in. Like I said, you can follow us on all of our social media, and hopefully TikTok stays on the list. Everything is Raw Industry Podcast, spelled regularly. And that's all we have for today. Thank you guys, and tune in on the next one.
Peace.